Okay, so we're going to start our study of circuits by looking at circuit diagrams. And these are just pictures that we draw to analyze circuits. Just know that the picture is it's not like a photograph of an actual circuit. So you can see down here we have these connections. And the way that we draw it is just so that we can work with it logically. So when we draw a circuit diagram, there's some elements that we can draw. So the first thing we can do is a battery. And we would draw it like this. The long side is always the positive, and the short is the negative. And we tend to put the positive on the top so that we can get a kind of clockwise flow. But doesn't matter. So this is a battery. And then wires are drawn just by drawing a line. So that's a wire. Pretty simple. And we have resistors. So there are these zigzag things like that. It's a resistor. And then we have bulbs. A bulb is a resistor. So sometimes you'll just see it like that, and it's a light bulb. To actually do it, we do this kind of thing. You put a circle around it. That's a bulb. Pretty common. And then whenever a wire splits, we have a junction. So we draw it like that. It's just the connection of two wires. Okay, so new is a capacitor. All these other ones we did last year. So we just draw a little parallel plate. That's a capacitor. These are just basic symbols. There's lots more. And then we can draw a switch. So I normally just draw it like that. Sometimes you'll see it with like a little ball on the end, but that's a switch. So that can open and close a circuit. Switch. So an open circuit is one that goes all the way around. There's no breaks in the connection. An open circuit is one where there's a break in it. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Let's try drawing a couple of them. Let me scroll down a little bit. So what we want to do is be able to take something like this. So we have a battery connected to 3 resistors and then draw that. And so what we can do is we could start with the battery probably. And I'll put the positive facing up. So now we're going to go upstream. So I see that it breaks off and immediately like splits out. So we can go ahead and just draw that as a junction. It's the same effect. And then it's going to go this way and connect to the 75 ohm resistor. My lines aren't very straight, but that has to do with the software I'm using. And then it comes back, and then it's going to hit another junction on this side and go back into the battery. And then on the other side, it's going to go through a 50 ohm. And then we could say it comes down and comes back and goes through this other one. And that's a picture of this diagram. Now, normally when we write these, we'll go ahead and label everything. So next to this, we would put our EMF. Up here, we could call this like R1, R2, R3. And then since they actually give us the values, you go ahead and write them on there. So 75 ohm, 50 ohm, and 100 ohm. And then the EMF is equal to 9 volt. Yeah, so that's a complete diagram. What we'll be doing pretty quick is determining these unknowns. So we won't know like resistance, and we'll determine current and stuff. One note, you see how these resistors are here? I could have drawn these differently. I could have put this resistor over here. It's the same effect. It's all on the same wire. And in fact, I could have just put them both on one side and then had the wire come back around. We normally don't draw curves, so nice right angles when we're lining everything up. All right, let's try this one. So you might want to pause it and give this one a go, and then I'll come back and do it. So probably start with the battery. I'm going to go a little quicker so the video doesn't get too long. And then it goes out to a resistor on one side, and then it goes to a resistor on the other side. So let's think about this. It's going to go out, and then it hits a resistor. So I'm going to draw that over here. We'll see if this works out. And then it splits, goes to a capacitor. So there's my capacitor, and then it's going to go back in junction back into the battery. So this junction here is that one. So that's going to go back around to a resistor that then connects back to this one. So we could have something like that. Let's see, did we get everything? Resistor, capacitor, resistor. Yeah, looks good. All right, so then we could go around and label all this stuff. But that's basically it.